What's going on, everybody? Toby1 Shinobi here, and dang, I've got a video for you. We are breaking down Zarraxus' gameplay. That's right, the dragon himself sent me some footage for me to review, put it on the channel, and hopefully we can learn from this legend. Now, this gameplay is a zero build solos ranked Unreal lobby, and he drops 19 kills, which is not really surprising. The guy drops 20 bombs in solos ranked at the Unreal level fairly often, and one of my favorite players to watch because he just W keys everybody. He's so good that people have speculated that he's cheating because he often plays in our member royales every Friday and he wins a lot of those games. People get killed by him and they're like, dude, the guy's cheating. He's too good, right? What they don't know is that he has a lot of history in aim training. He was deep in the aim training community. For like 6 years, he grinded aim trainers, Kovacs mostly, and was competing, within the top 100 on a lot of playlists and scenarios. Very, very, very good aim. And he's also got extremely good game sense. He's got earnings in Fortnite as well. And yeah, just a really, really, really fun player to watch, but also a really great guy. So I'm happy to share his gameplay because I'm sure a lot of people would want to see it with his own recording from his perspective, real time, what his gameplay looks like. And it's fun to watch. So let's get right into it. So he's dropping here at Fencing Fields. Looks like he's going for Medusa, and she sells the burst SMG, which is probably his favorite weapon. You give Zarraxus a burst with a laser on it, and that is scary. And I think that's what he's going for. He doesn't buy the shockwaves because it looks like he's only at 590 gold. If it were me, I'd probably buy a single stack, but I guess they're pretty expensive. He'd probably got to save his money for attachments, and he's got 2 flowberries. Probably wants to do a little bit of looting before he does it. And flowberries with the burst SMG is extremely deadly. Now, I don't think that burst has a laser on it, but let's just see what he does here. So he's going to be keeping his distance. He's just trying to bait this player out, try to get an angle. He does not have a shotgun. You see him playing medium distance right here. Nice. Never gave that player even a chance. 21 damage on him, and he is so deadly with the burst. All of that incredible aim is just super dangerous when he's got the burst, especially with the laser on it, because the laser has perfect hipfire accuracy, and you'll often see Zarraxus run a burst SMG and a shotgun as a 2-gun loadout, and then just have all the rest be utility and heals. What's also interesting about Zarraxus is you'll see him just use utility all the time. If there's utility laying around on the ground, he picks it up and he puts it to work. So right here, he's just going to eat that banana because why not? And you'll also see that he has very, very high APM, high actions per minute. He likes to keep the game going at a very, very fast pace, and he was actually discussing this in one of my APM videos, was saying that like one of the ways that he got good at Fortnite was just by forcing himself to go faster and faster and faster and like find more fights and loot faster and get that early game going faster. And you can see he's already got a kill. Makes that player give up in the fight. Just give up and quit. I don't blame you, my friend. Now, what happened here is because he ate that banana, this may have saved his life, or at least saved him from taking a lot of damage. He hits a crazy little slide right here, and then burst shots this player while they're floating in the air, which is a pretty easy target, and then just absolutely wrecks him. So bad that the player just gives up, which is crazy. Maybe that player recognizes Zarraxus or something. And it was just like, nah, dude, not this guy again. So maybe this isn't why he's buying shocks, because there's a lot of shocks at fencing. And now he's got 4. Just going to use the water bending mythic. This is actually a very strong mythic that isn't just totally gimmicky, right? That isn't just like a press a button and kill your enemy. But yeah, it's basically like an assault rifle with perfect hipfire accuracy, and it seems like it has a little bit of magnetism to it. Really fast reload too, so you can just pretty much keep damage going, and that's what he's doing here, is just putting a lot of damage out, or at least putting a lot of pressure out, trying to catch this enemy, do some early damage. And that's one thing you'll see about Zarraxus is he puts out a ton of damage. He just takes shots that most people don't take. A lot of people will get into a position and try to get like a nice clean shot. Zarraxus just puts damage out early, and I think that's for 2 reasons. One, to just, give yourself a little bit of advantage in the fight, but also 2, it does something to the enemy's psyche, right? If they start getting hit and they haven't landed any damage on their opponent, their mind kind of tells them, oh, we're losing this fight right from the get-go, and says we're fighting a good player here. He's already hitting me. This is kind of wild. He does that a lot. You'll see that a lot in his gameplay. So he's put about 44 damage on this player. And that adds up, you know. Now the player's overshield's gone. Another 44. And boom, fairly easy fight, just plays that rock. Now, a lot of players don't take shots like this, and that's one of the differentiating factors with Zarraxus, is that he's always putting pressure on his enemies, and he's always taking them off guard. I've experienced it myself. Like, once Zarraxus is fighting you, it just feels like you're getting chipped away. Unless you've got shockwaves or a plan, there's very few times that you're going to be able to get out and get away from Zarraxus without dying or getting badly wounded. So that's 66 right there, right? That plays into the enemy's psyche. I gotta just push up and try to hit this guy. And takes what looks like is a 50-50, but really he had the nice, you know, 66 damage before. Now another car coming in, he's gonna try to reload. His guns aren't reloaded, so he's just gonna fully leave. Trying to get some shield pots on him. Reload the shotgun, reload the SMG. And looks like he's just going to play his life here. Get some shields and watch where his enemy goes. This is smart. So a lot of people also make the mistake of just going into like a room and healing without keeping eyes on their enemy. This is something that I preach and Zarraxus does very well, is when you're healing, make sure you have a peek or a third-person camera on your enemy so you can keep track of them. Because if you are just finished up healing and then you can poke out and just laser your enemy or catch them in a bad position mid-heal, just exit that heal and just start putting damage out. So this guy doesn't know it, but he's already in a bad way because he's just being watched. And boom. The aim is too crazy. So again, taking the opponent kind of by surprise, or at least, oh, Gatekeeper, yeah, purple Gatekeeper, definitely go with that. Just getting early damage and kind of taking the enemy by surprise makes the fight really easy, because a lot of people don't think about it, but again, your enemy getting hurt early is a huge advantage for you because it works into their psyche, and it also just gives you a health advantage. Oh, Zarraxus is picking up the close quarters drum gun. Doesn't have a laser on it, but I have seen Zarraxus use the drum gun very effectively. I think what he likes about the drum gun is that it has a nice magazine size, has pretty good hip fire accuracy, and you know, this is a gold one, so it does very good damage as well. It's very good at medium range, and you'll see that Zarraxus plays a lot of medium range. If he doesn't have a sniper, he is often just jumping onto people's heads and taking them by surprise, and just playing the position and cover, hitting shots better than his enemy, and often juking shots too. Also interesting that he plays on DX12 or DX11, I don't know what it is, but he has grass. He's not on performance mode, which is fairly rare for a competitive player who wants to get as much advantage as possible. He's leaving fencing over at Restored now. He's got 4 kills and looks like he's going to go for this radio tower. Radio towers in ranked are a massive advantage if you can get it. They can be really, really helpful for those end games where you need to know where that storm's pulling, put yourself in a safe position, and just set up, because sometimes you get max pulls, you know, in those last 3 zones, and it can be really tough. All right, so player in the bush. Nice. Nice. So notice that he didn't do anything crazy there. He doesn't have enough damage for a push towards this bush. This player's at a massive advantage by having concealment. So what he's doing is playing this little jump shot, this little head glitch behind this little cliff, and he's just jumping up, just trying to get some free damage. Just trying to land as much as he can. Now, you'll notice that he put out, I think it was his first shot, he hit the middle of the bush for like 50. 51, right? So that breaks the overshield, but it's not like a lot. And he just is looking for a little bit more before he gets in there. He has skulls, so he could jump in, but I think he just wants to play this little cover piece because it's so strong. This is a very advantageous spot. A lot of people won't realize that, but this is very hard for this opponent to deal with because he's popping up so quick and then disappearing after each shot. And then he just waits for his enemy to come out into the open and make a mistake. The guy probably should have just stayed in the bush. He thought that maybe he could just come up here. Once he hit him for 40, he got excited and pushed out into the open. And yeah, hit some nice shots too. But just, I think Zarraxus used the environment, the cover a little bit better than that guy right there, and just kind of let him make the mistake. So we got 2 cars. He's just putting pressure out. Now I bet right here, he's putting that pressure out because he wants one of these cars to come fight him. He loves hunting, which is kind of one of the reasons he's so fun to watch. It's because he's just always trying to get people to fight him. Loves to get in dicey situations, and is very good at getting out of them as well. Just gonna keep putting pressure on that player in the car. This is like the Zenyatta mythic. It's pretty awesome, gotta say. It's like Zenyatta from Fortnite or from Overwatch. If you hit headshots with this thing, it does insane damage. I think if you land like a double headshot on a player, it's like 190 damage or something like that. If you get a double headshot, it's wild. So it's pretty much like a burst SMG, but 0 recoil and pretty much infinite ammo. All right, so now he's got the radio tower. Now he's looking at Grim Gate because that's definitely his favorite medallion. Mine as well. It's just too strong. The aspect of agility allows you to teleport, gives you 3 dashes, recharges those dashes over time. So he almost always rotates here, I think. It's a tree and freaks out. So he almost always rotates to Grim Gate at some point, but usually he doesn't land Grim Gate too often because Grim Gate is a dicey place to land at off the rip because it's kind of annoying to fight at with everyone having this teleport ability. Fights can last a long time, and you get third-partied a lot trying to get the medallion. So I think he's more of like a show up later and be the one third-partying. And you do not want to fight Zarraxus here because he's nasty with those dashes. A sniper looking at him in the distance. Again, just continuing to put pressure out, keeping the overshield off, hip firing. You'll see Zarraxus weapon swap like crazy. He uses everything. He's not afraid to use all of his ammo because he usually can get out of a bad situation pretty quick. Now he's going to go for the other player. He's got a very nice loadout, except for maybe replace that water bending with a sniper. Might be a little bit better, but this water bending is pretty darn good too. Just because of the ability to just keep putting pressure out like this. You'll notice he plays near edge of water a lot. Boom. So that he can get his teleports back all the time. Boom. Taking advantage of that player who's already hurt. Been shipping at for a while. So now we got 8 kills on the board, possibly another coming up here. He's got the Cerberus Dash Medallion, the aspect of agility, and a pretty darn good loadout. So looking for that player that shot at him earlier. And I believe he left the Mythic. Again, just putting that pressure out. You don't see him dive sprinting. You just see him kind of sprinting and keeping his hip fire out and just keeping the pressure out. Just kind of signature Zarraxus, just always putting bullets down range on enemies and makes them very, very uncomfortable. Something about getting shot with bullets makes you want to do something different than stand your ground. So yeah, he picks up a lot of kills right there, and most of it was just, you know, putting early pressure on and not getting shot. He's very good at avoiding damage and putting damage out. You can see the timing of his dashes. He doesn't spam dash too much. He just kind of uses it when he needs to. Very clean. Gold Sniper. He's going to pass the Gold Sniper. He's going to pick up the Mythic Gatekeeper, which is great. Misses a reload on his drum gun. He's very good at checking all of his weapons as well. You'll see him swap through all of his weapons. Now, he's got Fizz and Shockwaves, which is a great combo. One thing that I see Zarraxus do a lot too is he combines the Fizz with the Cerberus Dash, or the aspect of agility here, and uses it almost like a Shockwave Fizz. So you'll see him do that in a lot of these fights coming up, and it's something that I wasn't fully aware of, is that like you get a nice forward momentum and low grav with the Cerberus Dash. I mean, I kind of knew that, but I never like thought to take advantage of it all the time. You'll see him win a lot of fights because he's got the Cerberus Medallion and the Flowberry going, and he just dashes in and just like people don't know where he's at, just honking around looking for fights. Car coming at him. Let's go for a pickaxe. Again, just putting damage out early, just constant damage. Just sending out bullets down range. Always super aggro. But also very aware of other players in the area. If he sees other players in the area, he will usually kind of back off a little bit and let them do the work for him, or at least shoot from a safe area. Oh, look at this. He's going to grab EMPs. That is genius. Wow. So right there, again, what I said, like, he uses utility. That's one thing that, like, is so impressive about him. He recognizes advantages in the environment very quickly. So he sees an EMP and he's like, oh, EMP stops cars. We're gonna grab this, hit a shockwave, get an angle on this car, boom, shut it down, and then hit this player for another 70 with EMP. And makes this fight super easy for him. But again, that player never really had, like, any chance, right? He never had the ability to fight back because he always felt like there was too much pressure on him. He was always reeling, always on his heels, and that is kind of what happens when you fight the dragon. So he's got 10 kills now underneath the island. And this is why he likes that drum gun, for that large magazine. He's just going to stay on this player. Another set of footsteps, so he's leaving. Looks like. Okay, so right there, that's one of the things I talked about, right? He's very good at avoiding, like, these 2v1s or, like, getting focused in a third party. He sees footsteps, and I think his idea here is, like, it's not worth it. Maybe I can jump, dash, and hit a nice shot on this player, which he does. But then, falls off island, and that's a lot better than getting sprayed in the back by somebody who didn't have eyes on. So now he's going to go back up. Dashes off the zip to avoid a snipe. Smart. There he is again, using utility. He makes use of utility. If he's not going to carry it, he just puts it down. He just uses it. He's checking this bush. Oh my gosh, that was genius. I've never seen anyone do that. That's really smart to use that tree right there. Just gonna do it again. Looking around for where that player went before he just jumps down there. So still looking for that player. Looks like they just got in a car. Goes for the pickaxe trick. Boom. See, there's not a lot of escaping the dragon. Once you're in his sights, he really keeps putting pressure out and pretty much chases you until you die, unless somebody else gets involved. Maybe he's going to let that player go. Lucky them, because he wants to modify his weapons. Just put a laser on that and recoil. So now he's kind of rotating to zone, trying to get ahead because doesn't want to get the zone directly on his back, and he's just kind of looking for those players at the outskirts. This is something that Zarraxus also does, is he checks bushes. Like, he's just not scared to just shoot a shotgun, check the bush. This mythic reloads super fast, so you'll see him spray 3 shots into a bush just to make sure. Doesn't like to take those chances. So now fizz, shockwave fizz. Again, here we are with the constant pressure. Always on the offense. Taking quick peeks around to check his surroundings. And he's just going to keep griefing this player. Oh, it's her again. Whew, nice shot. Just constant pressure. When you're running from him, man, it's quite an experience. A lot of people don't even fight back because it's just like they can't. They have too much damage on them, or they just feel like they've got too bad of a situation because you've kind of pushed them into a bad spot. They feel like they have to just keep running. We are again back on the offense. Now look at that. See, look at this Flowberry dash right here. This is really, really good. And I don't know why I haven't been using this, but I'm definitely going to steal this. He hits the Flowberry Fizz from the 75 bottle, then picks up his fresh one. And then now he's using these dashes to get in on his enemy super quick with the low grab effect. Doesn't even touch water. And he's already in. And like, just like that, you know? It's like the offense. Best defense is a good offense, right? So he comes in here and just, this player just doesn't realize that he's already in on him because he took him by surprise with that Flowberry dash right there. What I like about Zarraxus gameplay, one, it's just super fun to watch, but two, he's just always putting so much pressure on players that they just have no idea like kind of how to handle it because he doesn't give them time to think. They don't have any time to think about the plan or lining up a shot or getting him in a bad spot because they're always in a bad spot themselves because they're getting shot. They're just always getting shot. Looking for another player. He hears people rifting. He hears gunshots off in the distance. He's looking to get some action, catch a third party here. He's going to hit that Fizz again before the fight starts. And boom. Doesn't take any damage at all. That right there could probably be attributed to using this Fizz to get up this hill because there's no footsteps when you're floating, right? So when he's in the air like this, he doesn't have footsteps, which is really take you by surprise. Once you see the footsteps, you know, he takes a shot and now he's up in the air and the player also is looking downward. See where they're looking right now? They're looking down towards the ground because that's where you expect to get shot from, but he's hovering in the air. So really putting this Fizz to work here and winning a lot of fights just by using it effectively. And again, you'll see him take 3 shots right there, right? He does sniper, misses a shot, switches to shotgun, uses all 3, and then swaps over to the SMG or the drum gun to finish off. And now he's back on it, putting pressure out. Just never stops. Just a machine. Switching between different targets. I think he's looking around a little bit for a third party. Okay, this guy's in the bunker, and there's another player in the bunker across from him. This guy in the bunker under him, I think he's under the bunker, yeah. Just they're too scared. He's got the dash too. Oh wow, 119 to the head. Ouch. Hits the flow again. This Fizz, man. The Fizz with the dash is so good. Lines up a perfect headshot, comes in, dashing for 119. That is crazy. Like, never gives the player a second to think, right? Like, wait, what's happening? Oh no. And then boom. It's over. Back on it, looking for the next player. Hitting that Flowberry shock, just trying to stay moving. Just constant pressure. And boom. And so he's just taking down players by having this constant pressure on them and this advantage at all times. They're always on the run, or they're always just not expecting him to push in so quick. And at that time, they're like, what do I do? Now, apart from that being just good for winning fights, it also reduces the amount of third parties because of how fast these fights are going and how much distance is being covered, right? So people are trying to third party, they often can't even catch up because he's moving so quick and chasing other players to really far areas, or he's just ending the fight so quick that like he's just ready for the third party and usually doesn't take very much damage himself because, you know, he just catches them so quick. Again, using some utility while he sits here and looks around at options. Nice, smart. Wow. Oh, didn't work, but it's a good idea. Trying to cover himself as he comes up this zip. You'll see him also take really quick flicks. That's that really high sense. He flicks up into the air to get some nice vertical momentum with these dashes, to like more of a 45 degree, so he goes further. Again, not one to let the enemy figure out what's going on. He's always on offense, and it's crazy how effective it is, but it really, really works. Catches this player in a terrible spot. I don't know what this player is doing, but they're probably just like kind of freaked out. They're freaked out because of how fast the guy is moving. They don't know where he is. Because again, when you're floating in the air, there is no visual audio. So this player sees his footsteps for just a second here. and then boom, it's just, he's in. 5 players left. He's racked up 16 kills. He could get the 20 bomb. And now he's playing for position. So you can see right there, he took a look at zone and was like, okay, I'll shockwave flow to the best spot early as I can go. Looking for someone to be here because you'd expect someone to might be in here. No one in here, and nice. He's got a very good spot. He's not going to sit on the roof because that'd be too dangerous. He's marking that player's position. That's pretty interesting right there. So he saw this player on that roof across, and I'm actually trying to kind of figure out what this is about. He sees the player on that roof, he knows the building that he's on, and then he goes to the map and marks it. So maybe he's just like trying to get a nice little pre-fire, a nice little pre-aim, but that's pretty interesting. Next zone is basically just to his right, so he can just play this. He's just chilling. Or actually, it's to his left, I mean. This player's making a move. Just gonna throw those bubbles down in case a player drops into his roof, because there is an open part on the other side. Checking the air for the shockwaver. And again, just taking the kill so fast, moving in so fast without people knowing where he's at. He just dashes into the air. This has kind of been the theme all game. With every game that he plays is always on offense. So he flies into the air. The player doesn't know where he is, right? And he just comes down, and already he's got like 160 damage on him or something, maybe more. And then just finishes it up with the drum gun. Now he's in zone. So you can see he eliminated the player that was basically moving to zone and takes it for himself, or at least gets rid of this player on his path. And now he's trying to get back edge of zone right here, or at least he does have back edge, which only that roof. Looks like maybe he's marking so that he can shock the right direction. I'll have to ask him about the marking thing. Maybe he's just used to pinging people for teammates. Ooh, nice shot. It's just over too quick. You get hit and it's just over. He's too fast with it. What are you gonna do? And the other player takes down the third and ruins his 20 bomb. Now he can only get 19. That's a huge bummer. I mean, not a huge bummer, but that would be nice to get the 20, but that's all right. Notice the fight went down over here. Scouting for him. Very nice move right there. It's just over too quick. The high sensitivity is also really good for finding people in the air. With that shockwave, he can just look up right away and find them. So this is a nice move right here, dashing across this doorway, because if he comes right here, this player's probably on a right shoulder. So he dashes, the player misses a shot, and the player came all the way out here, which is kind of silly of them, but just had no chance. And his classic basketball emote. All right, well, what I can take away from this is always be W keen. Just put pressure out early on enemies, use the advantage as much as you can, and then once you got them on the run, get in on them quick, keep putting that damage on them, keep them running, and oftentimes you won't take any damage at all. Like, how many times he took 20 fights this game, or 19 kills, and rarely do you see his health ever drop below 250. Which is pretty wild. And you know why? Because his enemies are always on the run. He's always doing the initial damage, always putting the pressure on, never lets them set up. You will see with a lot of players, like even myself, right, where we kind of set up, where we get in this engagement, we're like, okay, how do we want to play this? Like, do I push them? Zarraxus doesn't have to make that decision. He just knows what to do because the only option is push. Take them by surprise. And he does it smart, right? It's never like running out in the open and being an easy target. He does it in a way that like the player just doesn't expect. A lot of the times he gets that early damage and then it's just wraps for them. They can either fight and get Zarraxus a little bit hurt, or they can just accept their fate and die. Either way, it's not going to be good for them. Like that, we'll be on this river edge right here. We might play this rock piece for cover. We might be taking snipes. He has a sniper rifle. You would think that a lot of players would just sit here. You know, he misses one snipe. He doesn't just try to get another snipe on this person peeking. Instead, he says, you know what would really surprise this guy? Little Flowberry Fizz, double dash in, boom, in, and it's over. That right there, I think, is a great example of like the difference between taking that moment to take another shot or play a little more defensive versus just keeping the offense on. And man, he has a very strong offense. You do not want to be playing defense against Zarraxus. Overall, thank you so much, Zarraxus, for sending this gameplay in. Really appreciate it, Z. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Always a great time watching this guy. If you guys want to see more Zarraxus gameplay, go ahead and hit the comments below and let me know. If you want me to do more analysis of his gameplay, also, if you want to see him play, you can always watch the Member Royales on Fridays. He usually plays in those. That is around 4 p.m. Pacific time. I'm live streaming and he plays in those tournaments, and we often get to spectate him, and he puts on a show. Again, huge thank you to Z for sending the gameplay in. If you like the video, please leave a like on it. Really helps the channel out, and consider using code Toby1Shinobi in your Fortnite item shop. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have yourself a great day. Shinobi out.